Hey guys, what's up? It's Rygar the Destroyer, and today we're going to be taking a look at IG-88 from the Star Wars 6-inch Black Series. This is a pretty good figure, but before we take a closer look at it, let's go ahead and take a look at his packaging. So here it is. My release is obviously from the Archive collection, so it's on the blister style pack with the card. On the front here, not really much to look at. On the back, however, it does have an image of IG-88 as well as an image of his original release from the Black Series. And then down here, there is a brief description. Of course, if you'd like to read that, you can go ahead and just pause the video. But anyway, pretty standard stuff, so let's go ahead and get back to the figure itself here. Now, IG-88 stands at about 6 3/4 inches tall. So he's a lot taller than your average Black Series figure, but he is in scale. Obviously, he's a lot taller than your average character. And he does come with plenty of accessories here. The first one is the longer blaster rifle. No paintwork or anything, would have been nice to see, but it is nicely detailed. And one thing that I absolutely love is that in the blaster, there's a little peg hole, and then on the figure's wrist, there is a peg hole for that to slot into so that he can actually hold the blaster rifle, which was a problem that I didn't know about that before I bought the figure, and I was really worried that he's just not going to be able to hold his accessories at all. Up next, though, there is the, I think it's the E11 blaster rifle, and again, same thing with the peg hole so he can actually hold it. No paintwork or anything on this guy, but honestly, not the biggest deal in the world. I would have liked to have seen it, but it's, it's fine as is. And then finally, he does have this like machete or whatever it is, probably like a vibro knife type of thing. This does have some paintwork on it and some nice detail. It does actually look battle damaged up here on the blade edge, which is nice. And then of course, this slips into his, I guess like bandolier on his back here, so for storage. And then I'm not sure, I think it's for the E11 one. This can be slipped in here onto his back. It's a little tough to do through the viewfinder on the camera, but it can be done. And I'm sure you could probably wedge this one in there as well if you wanted to. So as far as articulation on this figure goes, I was a little worried. Obviously, droids like this, you have to worry about the articulation because it's not a standard kind of figure. But I think Hasbro did a pretty reasonable job with the articulation. There are some serious problems though, and we'll talk about them. So in the head here, he's got a swivel, really nice range on that. I mean, not much else you can really do with that. Then in the chest here, he's got a swivel that works as a crunch, and then there's a swivel so you can move his torso side to side. In the shoulder, he's got ball hinges with a nice range of motion, and then they've got this floating piece that covers the joint and kind of just cleans up the look of the figure, which I really like. Then at the elbow, he's got ball hinges, and they're covered up by a little rubber piece that hides the joint, which is really, really well done. It doesn't really hinder articulation all that much, and it just cleans up the look of the figure, which I really like. And then there is a swivel there, of course. Then at the hips here, he's got swivel hips. I would have liked to have seen like maybe a ball peg in the hips to give him some more range of motion, but I guess this does work. It's just not optimal. Then he's got a swivel at the hips here, as you can see there. And then at the knees, he's actually got double jointed knees. And on this leg, the articulation is functional. It's a little stiff right now. But it is double jointed, and you can get his leg all the way back. Let's see. Come on. There we go. But unfortunately, on this leg here, you basically can't use it. Now, he's got these little pipes on them, and they are flexible, but they're not quite long enough, in my opinion. Like, I'm afraid that I'm going to rip them if I move the knee joint, and they're like not removable or anything. I've kind of pulled on them and they don't just unplug or something, which I think is a serious missed opportunity for Hasbro. I think they could have done just a little bit more there to make the articulation actually functional. And then at the ankle here, he's got a swivel and then a hinge. So overall, I think the top portion of this figure absolutely perfect. I wouldn't change anything. But I think the lower half of this figure is where it kind of suffers, because basically at the end of the day, he's only going to be able to stand up and down. You're never going to be able to do any type of dynamic posing with this guy, which is unfortunate because he looks really cool. You know, I think there was an opportunity there to have a really dynamic figure. But I think Hasbro sort of missed the mark. And obviously we knew that, you know, because this is an archive figure. We've had it for years and years, and those are documented problems. However, I do think that this figure is worth picking up just for the variety. I think I like the size, I like the different design, and obviously it finishes up the Bounty Hunter like set from Empire Strikes Back. So I recommend picking it up, but just know that there are some serious problems with this figure. It's definitely not perfect. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave them down in the comment section below, and I guess I'll see you later.